Thank you so much, Tina Klein, for joining me today. I wanted to do an interview. I was super excited to do an interview with you because you come with a ton of experience, 40 plus years of real estate, but you specialize as an ASA. You want to explain what an ASA is?
An ASA is an accredited seniors agent.
Gotcha.
And it is an agent who specializes in seniors and helps them make the decision and helps them move and declutter their house and get their home ready for sale, as well as be their confident in what's going on, what do I need to be aware of.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted you to come in here. I was super excited because I wanted to pick your brain because I have experienced that myself as a personally, and I've seen friends and family deal with situations like that where a parent passes away or a parent can no longer take care of themselves, and now the children are left to, well, what do we do now? And so that's why I wanted you to come in here. So the first question I have for you is, what is it that you do for your clients who do call you? And I'm pretty sure you get both phone calls. You'll get a call from the children and you get a call from the actual parents saying, hey, I'm looking to do something with my home.
Generally, the client calls me and says, I'm thinking of moving into a retirement home, but I'm not ready yet. And they're sitting and they're looking at 60 years of treasures that they've built up.
And memories.
Yeah. And they're just overwhelmed because there is so much stuff. There isn't. I have people that will literally walk in and will look after all the things that you no longer want. So the first thing that we start with is, what is important to you? Whether it's financially, whether it's things of the heart, what is important? And let's separate that.
That's a very good point.
The rest, the kids come in and take whatever it is they want and make sure that they remove it because that is an important part.
Yes.
Secondly, what is left is stuff. And stuff we can deal with. Do we donate it? Do we auction it off? Or do we put it at the curb? Or in the recycle bin? Oh, I believe in a lot of ways I prefer to donate stuff, such as everyday dishes, cutlery, you name it, lamps,
yeah.
Pottery, all that kind of stuff can be donated. There's always somebody who loves it. Why not give it away? Why put it in our landfill?
I agree with you there. And I think that's such a great point. And you said you have a team. So this team can go in, start separating everything. And now you get to pick and choose, well, this is going to be donated. This is going to go to my family. This is going to be sold.
Yeah.
And I think that removes that emotional part of it, because how emotional can it be that you've built
huge
60 years in a home, you've raised kids, you have grandchildren now, and now, if the worst case scenario, your spouse passes away, now you have your spouse's things that are still there.
Yeah. It is, believe it or not, but it takes my team a day to declutter a house and to get it ready for sale.
That's incredible.
But they're really good at it. They know what to do. And they work with the senior or they work with the owner of the house. What is important to you? What is not important? And it's very easy to make a decision when you're sitting in a chair and they say, important? No. Yes? No. Donate? By the time it's done, it'll make you feel a lot better because the house will look amazing.
Well, and that's the thing. I think we need to prepare the home the best way possible for buyers to look at and consider.
Yeah.
But if it's full of clutter and full of things and memorabilia, it doesn't show the space properly. And I think that's a very good point. Yeah. If somebody is thinking of doing this, let's say a senior has the foresight to say, okay, you know what? I am going on with age. I may need to go to a retirement home. When should they contact you? Like, is there a time frame, maybe a year, 2 years out, 3 years out? What is the time frame does that look like when they do contact you?
Generally, people think about it for a good 5 years. And they will call me during that 5 years, somewhere along the line, to say, come and talk to me. Tell me, what is it that's comfortable? What do I need to do? Where am I at? How do I get rid of all this stuff? Because we have an enormous amount of stuff.
Yes, we do. Yeah, and we hold on to
And
things
we
that
hold on to everything.
everything, especially if you're a parent. I'm a parent of two girls, and we hold on to everything.
Yes, unless people that were born in the 1930s and they went through the Depression and then World War II, they hang on to
Everything.
everything.
When it comes to parents who don't have the ability to talk anymore, for example, they have a health issue where they can no longer talk. Maybe they're bedridden. Maybe they are unable to now start the process. What are some tips that you can give those people to at least help with that or mitigate that whole issue?
Make sure that you have a power of attorney for health.
Yes.
It is vital so that somebody can come in and make decisions for you. Somebody who loves you and cares about you and cares to make sure that you get the best amount of care.
And it doesn't have to be your children.
No. It can be a friend, it can be a stranger, it can be anybody, but have a power of attorney in place.
That's a very good point.
Secondly, have a will in place.
Yes.
And make sure that the will is updated. There is nothing worse than dealing with a will that is 40 years old and everybody, including the lawyer, the witnesses, have passed away, and the executor. So what you've got is you've got a will that is in limbo and needs to go to court to get rectified. Make sure your will is up to date within 5 years, 10 no longer than that.
That's a very good point. I think a lot of seniors don't want to talk about death. They don't want to talk about the possibility of something happening to them where they can no longer function. And I think a will is, for us, it seems simple enough, but there's the emotional side of it. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, oh, death is now around the corner if I have a will. But that's not the case. I think what a will is going to provide now is direction in how you want things handled.
Yes. And it is very important that you have a will in place for the very simple reason you've got wishes. What is important to you? Make sure that you have no more than one or two executors.
That's a very good point. Yes. And I think, that is a thought that came into my brain is, well, who do you pick? Because if you have, let's say, 5 children, do you make all 5 the executors?
No, that is what you can, but that is a nightmare plus and a half. Take my word for it. You would prefer to have no more than 2 executors. Having 5 people agree on one thing is very difficult. So have 1 or 2. They will make the decisions after you've gone, and it will be easier on everyone involved.
I agree with that, and I think because I've seen that happen in with people that I know whose parents have passed away, and now everything is in limbo because a will wasn't written, or if there was a will, they couldn't find it, or weren't even aware that there was a will.
Yeah,
and I think too, having it updated, I think is very key here. I think that's a key point because if you wrote a will 20 years ago, who's the lawyer?
A lot of things have changed in 20 years. One of your children might have gotten divorced, or might have, you've got 5 grandchildren instead of 1. So there's a lot of things you want to make sure that your will is up to date, that it says exactly what you want today. There is nothing worse than having a will that is outdated.
And contested.
And
possibly could be contested, yes, as well. And that's another nightmare that is, I don't even want to be a part of. So, yes. What can children do? So if they have aging parents and they're starting to notice, well, they're moving a little slower and they're not remembering things that well. What can children do to at least start the process? In
Talk to mom
case,
and dad.
talk to mom and dad. Yeah.
Have that discussion. Find out where the will is, which is vital, because there is nothing worse than having a will and nobody knows where it is. So, where is the will? Don't have to explain to the children what's in it, but make sure that it's up to date.
That's a very good point. I think trying to remove the emotional side of things and focus on, well, what is important.
Mhm.
And I think that is the case, because I think a lot of parents don't want to talk about death or possibly having diminished mobility and all of that. But I think what a lot of parents fail to understand is you're putting a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on your children, because now they have to deal with the sale of your home. Maybe they have a cottage. Well, how do you deal with now a cottage? So you got your main home, now the cottage. Who's going to take care of that? Who's the executor? Who's going to be dealing with all of that? Without a will, it's now left up to the courts.
That's right.
And when it comes to the courts, in your professional opinion, how long does it take from, let's say, day one, my parents pass away, no will? How long does it take for somebody to become now the executor or power of attorney and all of that?
Anywhere from 6 months to a year. So, and then you're talking about probating. It takes a long time. In Toronto, probate can take 3 months. It can take, and I've seen it take, a year.
My goodness. And the costs.
And the cost of maintaining the property. There is no closure for the kids. Everybody is in limbo because you cannot get rid of anything. You cannot, it has to stay the way it is.
So they can't even touch it during this time.
Well, they can, but it is more difficult, because who is the heir, where does all the furniture go, etc.
Especially if there's more than one brother and sister.
Yes.
You're now dealing with 2 people, 3, 5 who have different opinions on things.
Yes.
Maybe somebody wants to keep the house. Maybe other brothers and sisters are not in a financial situation where they can even contribute for the lawyers and the fees that are associated with this.
Well, if you've got 2 or 3 children, one of them will be financially comfortable, one of them will be financially not all that comfortable, and one will be, yeah, okay. So it is important that you've got it written down as to where everything comes out. After probate, or before probate, everything comes out of the estate, which is heat, hydro, taxes. It all comes out of the estate, as well as any lawyer's expenses, etc. Why pay a lot of money for lawyers if you've got a will? Make sure you get a will that is done by a lawyer.
And up to date.
And up to date.
Because the last thing you want, just like you were saying before, maybe 20 years ago you only had 1 grandchildren, now you have 10.
Now you have 10.
Where does everything go? The other thing too, I wanted to pick your brain, because I've heard of this, I've never seen it implemented, but I've heard of this where parents think, well, I'm just going to add my child to the deed of the home. That will save the taxes. They'll just own it after I'm gone, and everything's good. What do you say to that?
Not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
If your child owns another house, then it is now by CRA considered an investment property, and you would pay, or the child would pay 50% capital gains on it. Make sure you check that out with a lawyer, and make sure you check that out with an accountant. Whereas if it goes through probate, it is only 1.5% of the total amount of your estate.
My goodness. And one last question for you. Now, I'm sure because of your many years of experience, especially with seniors, what is it that could help families deal with this? Because I'm sure you've been in the middle where a parent has passed away, or they're thinking about selling, and now you have children who are like, well, I want the money, I don't want to sell, I want to keep the cottage, I don't want to keep the cottage. Where are you in there? Like, are you trying to mitigate everybody, or you're more like, let's go and talk to a lawyer?
That's a really good question. Where do I come in? Generally, if the senior has passed on, and hopefully there is a will, I would be the one that would come to sell the house, and I would go in literally with my crew, and we would declutter it, make it about as stage friendly as we can. Have the photographer come in, take the photographs, and many people are absolutely shocked at how beautiful the place looks. If the senior is at a stage or is still alive and is looking for something, we're moving in with the children, we're moving in with into a retirement home, then we do the same thing. We go with the senior and basically have my people come in and say, all right, work with the senior. What is it that you want to keep? Where are you moving? What kind of space do you have? What is important to you? And then the rest, either the children take or is stuff to be donated.
Should the children be involved during this time? Let's say the parents are healthy, but they need to move to a retirement home to be taken care of. Should the children be involved, or do you think that causes a little bit too much stress and confusion?
That's a really good question.
I come up with good stuff, yes.
Should the children be involved? Sometimes absolutely not.
Causes more chaos than necessary.
Causes more chaos than necessary.
Yeah.
I've been in situations where we had A+ children, and mom has finally made a decision. We are just going to take over. And all I did was hang on to my senior and just hold her hand and say, take a deep breath. It's okay. We're going to get through this. So sometimes it depends on the situation.
Depends on the situation.
And it depends on the people involved.
That makes sense. Yeah. So I would not want to be part of that. No, thank you.
No.
But yeah. No. Well, thank you so much, Tina. I really appreciate it. I think what you've told me here is that you have a team that will help you separate a lot of things, declutter, sell, give away, and some, of course, some things will be personal and you want to take that with you. But I think the first step is to talk to you, because you are the be all and all when it comes to seniors, and at least you can point people in the right direction.
I try to.
You try to. And
I try to.
You remove the emotional side.
I remove the emotional, and it now becomes, let me sit down with you. Let's go through this, and we're going to walk through this. We're going to walk this road together.
Yes.
And I'll be there right beside you. Relax. And when things get too emotional, take a deep breath. We're there. We'll get it solved.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Tina. And I think your passion, the love of what you do and what you do for seniors, it came through. And I think anybody who is in a situation like that, please reach out to Tina. Talk to her. It's free. Doesn't cost anything.
Doesn't cost anything.
Doesn't cost anything.
Well, okay, a cup of coffee and a cookie.
Yeah. But other than that, does not cost anything.
Other than that, no.
To get the information, it's like, well, what is step one? Where do I do? Where do I go from here? Because I think a lot of people leave it to the last minute. And I think that is just not a good way to do things. Because if you're seeing things happening, maybe it's time to talk to a professional to at least get the info.
Yes.
Get the info, because you don't want to be in a situation where things have happened and now one person now has to go through the courts, get a lawyer, find the will. If there's no will, now I have to be the executor, get probate, money, cost, time, effort. And a lot of people my age may not have the time, may not have the funds. And I think having that conversation ahead of time, that is where Tina Klein comes in. So if you're looking for an agent who's going to help you with that and give you the direction you need, and maybe a shoulder to cry on, Tina Klein is your person. I'll have her contact information below. But thank you so much, Tina. I really appreciate it, and
Thank you.
really appreciate the time you've taken in. And I look forward to talking to you again, because I want to get more information from you.
All right. Last word. Get a will.
Get a will.
Have a power of attorney.
There you go. 2 important things if you're
And
aging.
tell your kids where it is.
Where it is. That's number 3. Thank you so much, Tina.
Thank you. All right.
Oh, that didn't record.
That's frightening.